The following is a talk given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on October 30th, 2011 in Juhu Beach in Mumbai, India. The talk was given on the Disappearance Day of Srila Prabhupada.
Om Ajnana-Timirandasya Vinanjana Salakaya Chaksaram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Saraswati Devi Pavravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Ashtata Dasatarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Pavravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Ashtata Prabhupada ki jai. Karoti la chala, Pangulangaya taken, Yatki Bhatavan Mande, Sigaram Dikainam Brahmanan Maram, Sri Chaitanya, Ishram. First line, Shraddhanjali at the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. I've been in Bombay since 21st. I've been taking some antibiotics, and as a result, it's difficult for me to speak as clearly as I did before. So I'll try to speak. I hope you can understand. If you have difficulty, you can have someone repeat who's used to hearing from me. As was explained, that I was stationed in Mayapur.
As it was explained, I was stationed in Mayapur.
And first, of course, I arrived in Bombay.
And first, of course, I arrived in Bombay.
That was the main city in India.
That was the main city in India.
So, at that time, there was no security. And beggars came up to see me.
And beggars came up to see me.
They said, Bakshish, Bakshish.
And then they said, Bakshish, Bakshish.
I didn't know English. I didn't know, I didn't know even what Bakshish meant.
I didn't know what Bakshish meant.
So, they had a kid which the eye was falling out.
So they had some kid whose eyes was falling off.
She asked for money.
She asked for money.
I thought, wow, this is a weird place.
We thought it was a weird place.
And I called up all the phone numbers I had from Bombay.
And he called up all the phone numbers he got from Bombay.
But nobody answered.
But nobody answered.
But later I found that was quite normal.
And later on I found out it was quite normal.
Anyway, someone sold me some dollars on the black.
Somebody sold me some dollars in black.
And I bought a ticket to Calcutta.
And I bought a ticket to Calcutta.
But that was I was supposed to go to meet Achyutananda.
I was supposed to go and meet Achyutananda.
So, but that was my first experience of Bombay.
That was my first experience of Bombay.
But later, I'd come on some occasion to see Prabhupada here.
But later, on some occasions, I would come to see Prabhupada here.
And of course, the most memorable occasion was at the end of his pastimes.
Of course, the most memorable occasion was at the end of his pastimes.
I think it was April 1977.
I think it was April 1977.
And I was on the night shift
And I was on the night shift
for Srila Prabhupada.
with Srila Prabhupada.
And he woke up about 1 o'clock
And he woke up at about 1 o'clock.
and he said, "My back is itching.
And he said, my back is itching.
Please scratch it."
Please scratch it.
I was scratching it. Harder!
And he said, higher.
Use your nails. Harder!
Use your nails harder.
So I had this, although I was studying in Mayapur, but I didn't have personal service.
Although I was serving in Mayapur, I didn't have any personal service.
I would arrange the personal servants,
I would arrange the personal servants.
arrange to house them and all that.
Or arrange to house them and all that.
But here I was given a chance to do some personal service.
But here I was given a chance to do personal service.
You thought that, of course, that time we had the houses in the back.
Before that, we had a house in the back.
No, many houses.
Many houses in the back.
All you know that.
All of you know that.
Before this Heaven on Earth project, those houses were still there.
Before this Heaven on Earth project, the houses were still there.
So, sometimes Prabhupada would be on the roof and he'd give darshan.
Sometimes Prabhupada would be on the roof, then give darshan.
And he'd be very relaxed.
And he'd be very relaxed.
He'd wear just a top piece
He would just wear a top piece
and some dhoti,
and some dhoti,
and he would give talks.
and he would give talks.
So, he also, in the morning, he would go on the morning walk.
So in the mornings, he would go on the morning walk.
And on the morning walk, we saw that some doctor would stop him and ask very aggressive questions.
On the regular walks, some doctor would stop him and ask him very aggressive questions.
He liked it.
He liked,
And he would reply those questions.
he would reply those questions.
So this is a daily, as he walked up and down the beach, he would stop and he would talk to various people.
As he would walk up and down the beach, he would stop and talk to various people.
Or he would have them walk with him.
Or even have them walk with him.
I don't think he stopped much.
I don't think he stopped much.
But while walking, he would talk.
But while walking, he would talk.
And I was present when Srila Maharaj, he had a darshan.
I was present when Sridhar Maharaj had his darshan.
At that time, he was a brahmachari.
At that time, he was brahmachari.
And he asked for sannyas.
And he asked for sannyas.
So Prabhupada said, "How sure are you can follow all the rules?"
So Prabhupada asked, how sure are you can follow all the rules?
Then he was taken back.
Then he was taken aback.
He was by nature very humble, very simple.
He was by nature very humble and simple.
So he said, Prabhupada asked him, 75%?
So Prabhupada asked him, 75%?
First he asked, 100%?
100% first Prabhupada asked him.
He said no.
He said no.
75%?
He said 75%?
Not sure.
Not sure.
50%?
50%.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, I can do that.
I'm 50% sure I can follow 100%.
I'm 50% sure I can follow 100%.
And Prabhupada said, okay, we'll give you in Vrindavan.
So Prabhupada said, we'll give you in Vrindavan.
This is a very intimate, he was very humble, Srila Maharaj.
Sridhar Maharaj was very humble.
Now, Prabhupada said that Vrindavan was his home.
We know Prabhupada said that Vrindavan was his home.
Mayapur was his place of worship.
Mayapur was his place of worship.
And Bombay was his office.
And Bombay was his office.
So, he had a plan how he would distribute the Krishna consciousness all over India.
So he had a plan to distribute Krishna consciousness all over India.
Now, he said that he was asked by his guru to teach in the West.
He said that he was asked by his guru to preach in the West.
But how could he preach in the West and tell all the people how great was Indian culture?
But how could he preach in the West when all the people,
No, and tell the people.
to tell the people how great the Indian culture was?
If the Indian people adopt Western habits,
If the Indian people adapt Western habits,
so he needed to also preach in India.
so he needed to also preach in India.
And Mumbai as the most advanced city
And Mumbai, as the most advanced city,
was the place he wanted to focus on.
he wanted to focus more on Mumbai.
So later I found in Mumbai that I found in Los Angeles that the small deities of Rukmini Dwarkanath, they had asked Prabhupada, please preach in India.
Later, I found out that the deities in Los Angeles, Rukmini Dwarkanath, asked Prabhupada to preach in India.
That this was revealed to Brahmananda
That this was revealed to Brahmananda.
many years, and he told the devotees there that Prabhupada had told him this.
And he told devotees there that Prabhupada had told him this.
Also, when Prabhupada, he was told by Rukmini Dwarkadish, the big deities in LA, apparently, that he should go back to India. It was time for him to leave his body.
The big deities in LA, Rukmini Dwarkadish, also apparently told him to go back to India. That was his time to leave the world.
So, this I thought I'd tell you, because there's a connection between Mumbai and LA.
This I thought I should tell you because there is a connection between Mumbai and LA.
Of course, at that time, the designer for the temples in India was Srila.
Of course, at that time, the designer for India, the temples for India was Surabdas.
Surabhi.
Surabhi.
And he had all this here in Juhu.
And he had an office here in Juhu.
So, like that, Prabhupada would direct things here.
Like that, Srila Prabhupada would direct things here.
So we had some mercy that he came to Mayapur twice a year.
So we had some mercy that he came to Mayapur twice a year.
Once he would come on the Gaur Purnima time.
Once he would come on the Gaur Purnima time.
Another time he would come on the time of, like somewhere between August, September, October.
And second time he would come somewhere between August, September and October.
Or December.
Or December.
Either before or after Ramadan.
Even before or after Damodar.
So, but he'd come to Mumbai off and on.
But he would come to Mumbai off and on.
And one time we were all invited to attend a program in Warda.
One time we were all invited to attend a program in Vada.
And that was a program at the ashram of Vinoda Bhave.
And that was at the ashram of Vinoda Bhave.
And apparently he was financed by the Bajaj group.
Apparently he was financed by the Bajaj group.
Somehow we stayed in the Bajaj house in some nearby city.
Somehow we stayed at the Bajaj house somewhere near the city.
In a nearby city.
In a nearby city.
So at that time, Vinoda Bhave, he was observing Mona.
So at that time, Vinoda Bhave was observing Mauna.
But he was upset that in India they still had slaughter of the cow.
Because he was upset that still in India they had the slaughter of the cow.
So he took the vrata to practice Mauna.
So he took the vrata to practice Mauna.
He had his ashramites, which were mainly ladies,
He had his ashramites, which were mainly ladies,
chant the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
chant 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita.
And the Prabhupada, he had his devotees chant Hare Krishna first.
And Srila Prabhupada had his devotees chant Hare Krishna first.
So, Chidananda Swami, Chidananda of the Divine Life Society.
So Chidananda of the divine, Shivananda of
No,
the
Chidananda.
Chidananda from the
Chidananda.
Chidananda.
Chidananda. Chidananda.
Chidananda from the Divine Society, Divine Life Society,
Who is a disciple of Shivananda.
who is a disciple of Shivananda.
So, of course, that society is Mayavadis.
So of course that society is Mayavadis.
Now, this was officially a world seminar on Bhagavad Gita.
Of course, this was the world seminar on Bhagavad Gita.
So, Prabhupada, then Swami Chidananda, he was asked to say something, to do something on the Gita.
So Chidananda Swami was asked to do something on the Gita.
So, first he had his followers
So first he got his followers
to chant, and he speculated,
and he speculated
and he started to chant, Satchit Ananda Krishna, Satchit Ananda Krishna, Jyoti. So just no mantra, just speculated. So Prabhupada, he said, this is very offensive.
So Prabhupada said this is very offensive.
He told the devotees, chant Hare Krishna.
So he told the devotees chant Hare Krishna.
And the devotees stood up, playing Mridanga and Kartal, they began to chant.
So the devotees started to play Mridanga and Kartal and began to chant.
And everybody sighed a sigh of relief.
And everybody had a sigh of relief.
Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
And they all were chanting very blissfully.
They were all chanting very blissfully.
Then he stopped. And so then Chidananda, he was hot, but he then spoke something on Gita.
So Chidananda was hot, but he didn't speak anything about the Gita.
No,
he spoke something about the Gita.
But anyway, later Prabhupada said, you are all pure devotees.
Later Prabhupada said, you are all pure devotees.
Oh, Prabhupada, we're not. We have still a long way to go.
He said, Prabhupada, we have a long way to go.
Well, he said, you're like the mango. There are ripe mango and there are green mango.
You're like the mango. There are ripe mango and there are green mango.
It is mango or banana, a ripe banana and green mango, green banana.
Maybe he used ripe banana or green banana.
So he said, you may be a green banana, green mango.
You may be green banana or green mango.
But in due course, you'll become ripe.
But in due course, you'll become ripe.
So, like that, Prabhupada, he had many pastimes in Mumbai and in Maharashtra.
So, Srila Prabhupada had many pastimes in Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra.
And so I spoke this morning a little bit about the deities.
I spoke this morning a little bit about the deities.
I don't think I'll speak anymore because my body is not cooperating so much.
I don't think I will speak anymore because my body is not cooperating so much.
But I wanted to say something.
But I wanted to say something.
Now, we know how Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to see that Krishna conscious movement stay together.
We know that Srila Prabhupada wanted the Krishna conscious movement to stay together.
And he was very concerned that after his departure, the movement would stay together.
And he was very concerned that after his departure, the movement should stay together.
And he cited how the Gaudiya monk, they sold property, they divided up.
And he cited how the Gaudiya Math sold properties and divided.
And he was concerned that ISKCON should stay together.
He was concerned that ISKCON should stay together.
So, by Prabhupada's mercy, we're still together.
By Prabhupada's mercy, we are still together.
And he said, well, if you can at least maintain the temples I gave you, I'll be happy.
If you can maintain the temples I gave you, I'll be happy.
But if you can expand, I'll be happier.
But if you can expand, I'll be happier.
So now we have about 500 centers all over the world.
Now we have about 500 centers all over the world.
And Prabhupada gave us 108.
But Prabhupada gave us 108.
So about every 10 years we almost double.
So every 10 years we doubled.
Of course now we have Namahattas, council groups, Bhakti Vrikshas,
So now we
Shastra groups.
So now we have Namahattas, Bhakti Vrikshas, counselor groups.
And there are thousands and thousands of those.
There are thousands and thousands of those.
So like this, Lord Chaitanya had predicted that Pratidite Ache Data Nagaradigram Sarvacha Pracharita Hoidbe Varnam.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted
that in every town and village throughout the whole world,
that in every town and village throughout the whole world,
my name will be sung.
My name will be sung.
So here in Bombay, Prabhupada explained.
So here in Bombay, Prabhupada explained
that the glories of His holy names will be known in every village, every town around the world.
That His name, His holy name will be known in every town. The glories of His holy name will be known in every town and village around the whole world.
So, this is the vision of Prabhupada.
So this is the vision of Prabhupada.
And we see how it's also predicted in several places in Shastra, also by the associates of Lord Chaitanya.
So it's also seen that it is predicted in the Shastras and by the associates of Lord Chaitanya.
That someone would come and he would come about 500 years after Lord Chaitanya.
Someone would come about 500 years after Lord Chaitanya.
And he would distribute the holy name all over the world.
And he would distribute the holy name all over the world.
All the places where Lord Chaitanya had not visited.
All the places where Lord Chaitanya had not visited.
So, Lord Chaitanya had visited basically all over India.
Lord Chaitanya had basically visited all over India.
And Prabhupada was asked to preach in the West.
Prabhupada was asked to preach in the West.
So, it seems that Prabhupada is the fulfillment of those predictions.
So, it seems that Prabhupada is the fulfillment of those predictions.
Now, Maya and Kali must be very upset.
Now, Maya and Kali must be very upset.
And Kali, he's the personality of quarrel and dissension.
And Kali, we know, is the personality of quarrel and
dissension. So, we have to be very careful.
We have to be very careful.
To stay united.
Stay united.
And Prabhupada asked us that at the GDC meetings we should discuss every day, every meeting, one day, unity in diversity.
So Prabhupada asked us to discuss in every GBC meeting unity in diversity. One day, in every meeting, unity in diversity.
So he was so concerned.
He was so concerned.
So by Prabhupada's mercy,
by Prabhupada's mercy,
we we're still united,
We are still united,
and only 2-3 temples are tried to break free,
only 2-3 temples try to break free,
of which one is still separate, or two are separate.
of which 2 are still separate.
So we have a great obligation to see that Prabhupada's will and his desires are fulfilled.
We have a great obligation to see that Prabhupada's will and desire is fulfilled.
So on the appearance day, there's simply a blissful rejoicing.
On the appearance day, it's simply blissful rejoicing.
But on the disappearance day,
But on the disappearance day,
which is transcendently the same,
which is transcendently the same,
but still
we
we think of the legacy that the Guru left us,
think of the legacy that the Guru left us,
and we want to carry that on.
and we want to carry that on.
So recently, in May, I heard a lecture from Hirananda Maharaj,
Recently in May, I heard a lecture from Hridayananda Maharaj.
and he spoke very nice.
He spoke very nice.
He said, we who are disciples of Prabhupada,
We who are disciples of Prabhupada,
we were like standing on the mountain.
we were standing on the mountain.
So maybe we don't get a very good vision of how big is the mountain.
So we don't get a good vision of how big is the mountain.
As the future generations come,
As the future generations come,
they see the mountain from a distance.
they see the mountain from a distance.
And they see, oh, the mountain is so big.
See how the mountain is so big.
So like that, he was saying that future generations may actually see how great Prabhupada was.
So the future generations might see how great Prabhupada was.
More than us.
More than us.
So that was nice to hear.
That was nice to hear.
Tell Prabhupada keep.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.